Zeno, a Stoic philosopher, once said that motion is just stillness stacked infinitely. He argued that an arrow in flight is never actually moving at any single instant. And at every standstill moment of time, it looks motionless. Is motion real if any instant in time is frozen still? What's silly about this is it's just not based in reality. As you can see here, this fellow was saying, do you still claim that this arrow will remain still when I let go of the bowstring? And Zeno over there will get pummeled by an arrow. But what does this mean for you? The gym lifter, the guy who wants to get buff. Well, check this out. This is my pump from doing isometric work today. And isometric work is basically the no motion in reverse. Zeno said motion is stillness stacked infinitely, and isometrics is infinite micro motions stacked together. So why the beginning of this video matters, and I made this correlation, is because let's say someone handed you a barbell and said curl it halfway up to the hardest point of the lift and just sit there. Don't move it. Your arms are going to be on fire depending on the weight within 10 to 20 seconds. Now, why is that? Because you're not moving, but you're doing a hell of a lot of work. So your body is actually making these tiny little movements to keep the weight up. There's a small contraction, small eccentric, small contraction, small eccentric happening constantly when you do isometrics. And this is why people get brutally sore just from not moving at all, because there are tiny eccentric motions happening, right? So today's workout is based on that. I did 9 sets of isometrics on chin-ups here with my palms facing me to hit some more biceps. Now I'm going to talk about why I did 9 sets at different angles. Now, when most people do isometrics, they pick one part of the movement to do an isometric on, right? As we all know, a full range of motion is fully opening the joint and fully closing the joint, okay? Or joints, if it's compound like this here. So what I decided to do was 3 sets of 3 in every joint angle you can do on a chin-up. Not every single one, but the main ones, right? So the bottom, the mid-range, and the top. And I think a lot of people could benefit from this because I've never seen anyone saying, oh, you need to train isometrics in every single angle too. They usually just pick one joint angle and just keep their isometric there. But I say no, you need to do isometrics in every single joint angle you can, because that helps you gain strength in all the ranges of motion. This will differ if you're doing yielding motions like you see here, or trying to move an immovable object. So yielding ones are where whatever you're doing the isometric on, you can still actually move it. And the immovable object is where you're trying to move something that will not physically move despite all your greatest efforts. And there's differences. So with the yielding ones, you can get away with doing different joint angles. With the immovable object one, that's a bit harder to set up, in my opinion. And I think you get more sore from the yielding ones, like what I'm doing here, the chin-ups, because you have the tendency to do eccentric work as you go down, and you're fighting being lowered. So, for example, let's say you were going to do an immovable object isometric, and you decided to do barbell rows. So you'd have to set it up. You would have to set up something so heavy in any range of motion that you could not lift the bar. Okay? So you could choose the joint angle at which you want to do that. But this way, let's say you put it up to your waist, okay, and you're moving the barbell, or not even moving it, but you're actively trying to pull it, to your belly button stomach, sternum, however you do your barbell row. And it's not moving. Okay, it's an immovable object. There's not a lot of eccentric work happening when you're trying to move an immovable object because you're actively just doing contractile work. So I think there's merit to doing both. I like doing yielding like this because the stimulus is just unreal. There is a lot more real estate for eccentric work because you're just fighting being lowered. And with the immovable object one, it's fun to do because you're just trying to contract as hard as you physically can. Love doing all of that work. Isometrics are a gold mine for anyone also with injuries need to work around. No joint pain. The pump is just gnarly. I mean, the fact that you get blood flow to a joint that hasn't moved necessarily is just mind-blowing. So for this workout, if anyone wants to follow this is during my calisthenics 30-day challenge here. I did 3 sets of 3. So I did top range, mid range, low range, and my goal was to hold on at each one for 30 seconds. And it took about a minute to 2-minute rest because it did get my heart rate up. I was breathing heavily. It was a fantastic workout. So I did all 3 by 3, so 9 sets there. Then I did 2 extra, just full body chin ups like you see here. So I just tried my best to go to failure. So I did 11 total sets. 2 sets at the end were normal straight sets. Just as many chin ups as I could. On the last set, the 11th set of chin ups, I did about 2 or 3 negatives. So when I failed, I just jumped up to the bar and let the negatives do its thing. I had a lot of fun with this one. If you do isometrics or have any experience with them, please comment down below. Let me know what you think of them, what kind of workouts you do with them, and if the yielding versus immovable object idea made any sense to you guys. But I appreciate all of you for tuning in. You guys have been super supportive for me. I appreciate you. And I will talk to you guys on the next video. Oh yeah, like and subscribe, please.